guess it hasn't been such a bad day after all. Happiness is finding a pencil, knowing a secret, telling the time. Happiness is learning to whistle, tying your shoe for the very first time. Happiness is playing the drum in your own school band. And happiness is walking hand in hand.
Happiness is walking hand in hand with a friend. Happiness today, after this pandemic, or really in the middle of this pandemic as numbers continue to rise, we're not through the pandemic, I would say. Anyways, happiness is still walking with a friend from 6 feet apart and with wearing your mask. Still, to get happiness is togetherness, you can say. Being able to get together with your community, with your friends, with your people. Outside, of course, your own family unit, your blood relatives, your bubble of people that you maybe have enjoyed stay-at-home orders for a few months. It's nice, though, to expand that community to others out there that we enjoy and have missed. They say absence makes the heart grow fonder, and I think this time of pandemic, stay-at-home orders, social distancing, not being able to regularly get together with our people, especially unless they were in your household, has certainly made us more grateful of community and made us see perhaps the value that community brings, the happiness community brings to our lives. So this week, again, we are Morning Manna is looking at happiness is community, and this day, on this hump day, I am on time with not a mid-morning manna, but a morning manna, and we are continuing to look at happiness is community. We're looking at the Old Testament wisdom literature, the book of Ecclesiastes 4, 9 through 12, and I am going to read that scripture to you from the Message translation of the Bible. Hear these words. It's better to have a partner than go it alone. And if one falls down, the other helps. Share the work, share the wealth. And if one falls down, the other helps. I think I read that out of order. But if there's no one to help, tough. Two in a bed warm each other. Alone, you will shiver all night. By yourself, you're unprotected. With a friend, you can face the worst. Can you round up a third? Because a 30-strand rope isn't easily snapped. We need each other. We need each other both to share our joys and to share our sorrows. But like I said about habits, I will say about community. Habits take work. Community takes work. Cultivating a community, especially a community that you can turn to in the darkest hours of your life, a community that can carry the burdens with you and for you at times when you need them to, a community that through it all can point you back to God, that can point you to happiness, especially in the smallest of things, a community that can do all that, bring you happiness, happens over time. And such a community is something you want and need in the ups of life, yes, but also maybe even especially so, you want and need community in the lowest of lows of life. I asked you yesterday, who are those people who help shoulder your burdens? Who are your people? Who is your Ruth? Who will help point you back to God, back to happiness when you have completely lost all hope? We all need community, but we all need healthy, did you hear that descriptive word? Healthy communities, relationships that help rather than harm. Two are better than one if the other we have chosen to make community with, to connect with, lifts us up to God, but also lifts us up in the eyes of ourselves and also lifts us up in the eyes of others. We all know relationships that don't do any of that. Relationships that do more harm than help. And that is when community is not happiness. Community is supposed to fill you with happy, with joy, with a sense of belonging, with a sense that you are never alone, that these people, your community, has your back through thick or thin. Such community is built on trust, on respect, on love, and also the unspoken agreement that we will work to see the best in one another, even when we are not our best selves. And that is okay. We are accepted. Again, we belong. We don't have to pretend. We don't have to hide. We can be our true selves, and we don't have to beat ourselves up for being down or for being on the outs and for not knowing happiness or feeling like we're far from God. We don't have to beat ourselves up for those things when we have a healthy community surrounding us. And we certainly don't need someone who we call a friend or call community to chastise us for being anything but perfect. No, like the writer of Ecclesiastes says, with a friend, you can face the worst. Community is happiness when you carefully choose a community who desires your happiness as much as their own. And they, your community, are committed to being there through the best and the worst. They are not a fair weather fan. There will be seasons of both giving and seasons of taking, of receiving. Ecclesiastes 3 says this exact thing before our scripture text today in Ecclesiastes 3. Go read it. There are seasons of life where you are the friend, you are the friend called to be happiness to another feeling their way through the darkness of life. And sometimes you are the friend that is feeling your way through the darkness of life, and you need to be guided through the dark by a happy, blessed friend. We need each other, and such community truly, I believe, is the truest image of God we can experience. Happiness is God. Happiness is community. See you tomorrow.